Hello, hello! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I just came back from the theaters after seeing Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. This is a 2021 film that is obviously based on the video games, and it's a reboot from like the 6 or 7 Resident Evil movies from back in the day. This is directed by Johannes Roberts, and the plot. If you're a fan of the video games, it basically takes the plot of the first and second games, mixed a little bit with 3 and whatever the hell else. Claire Redfield, who is kind of a conspiracy theorist as far as the Umbrella Corporation goes. She believes that they are doing some experiments that are not only destroying the city, but destroying the people in the city. Yeah, Raccoon City is fucked. And it's fucked with zombies. Now, what I thought of Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, I did not care for this film. I didn't. And it sucks because I wanted to like this movie. I did. Not just the movie itself, but the idea of them rebooting the Resident Evil series based off of the many complaints from the game fans, from people that love the video games. A lot of them didn't care for the Mila Jovovich, Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil films that continued on for so long, it felt like. And even though I was okay with those movies, I got it. I understood their complaints. I understood what they didn't like and how they felt like certain characters and certain maybe storylines weren't as taken care of in those films. So I always wanted to see what these films could look like with new direction, new leadership, and then the trailer came out. And that trailer did not do this movie justice to get people behind it, to gain confidence. And watching this movie, every thing that I was nervous about, everything that made me worried about this movie from the trailer was fact. It came true. Everything. I'm talking about this movie being as low budget and as cheap looking as it looks. Yeah, this film looks very cheap. And I get it. It's Resident Evil. It's a B horror game at the end of the day that just sort of blew up in popularity, and we go from there. But even you're talking about how this film uses so much CGI, uses so much effects to try to create the zombies or the dog zombies or the creatures that we get at some point. And they rely so hard on CGI. And I recently rewatched the first 3 Resident Evil movies, and those films kind of hold up when it comes to zombie effects, when it comes to practical effects. This film needed to do practical effects. Going the CGI route was the wrong move. The shot of the zombie dog in CGI is terrible. But alright, fine. The technical aspects weren't that good. Let's talk about the characters and the actors, shall we? We have Claire Redfield, who is played by Kaya Scodelario. I think that's how you say her name. I've seen this actress in a few things, including Crawl and the Maze Runner films. I like this actress a lot. I do. I don't think she was given a lot to do. She is our main character in a sense. She's kind of there, here and there. The movie cuts away from her so many times, and then when we get back to her, it's like, oh yeah, you, the main character, Claire. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it was the pacing, but I also thought that the directing was not handled well at all. The dialogue is atrocious. It is. Them trying to explain this backstory stuff of the T-virus and the Underground Corporation and the experiments that they've been doing, I guess, for years. It's so thrown out there. like it's nothing. It's not really that big of a deal. Maybe it's partially because we've already had 6 movies that have been there, done that. I was starting to realize that, man, I had so much more fun playing the first couple of Resident Evil games than sitting here and watching characters go through the mansion. Yes, it was cool to see the mansion. It was cool that they made the mansion a central area for the characters to be at, but it didn't have the action or the pacing. They tried like one sequence to go more horror, and I guess that was fine. But because I didn't care about the characters, because I wasn't sitting there afraid for them or with them, I wasn't in suspense. I wasn't scared at all. Chris Redfield is played by Robbie Amell. Now, I like this actor in general. I've seen him in other things. He's Stephen Amell's cousin, and he's fine. But again, it's the writing that's just bare minimum. You know, it's like they don't do anything to really make the relationship between Claire and Chris all that interesting. And there's a point where they spend a lot of time apart, but we don't really get into the meat of it, like why and the hows and what exactly goes on. It's just, it's said in one line of dialogue and then we move on. Maybe it's because they try to jam too much game stuff in here. They tried to do 2 or 3 different games all into one, to where you lose track of what this movie really should have been about. I like the idea of having a movie about Chris and Claire Redfield, but at the end of the day, it wasn't really about Chris and Claire Redfield. They were just here. They were just avatars to go through the situation. Wesker, who's played by Tom Hopper, I've seen this actor before, but what they do with Wesker and how some of this is so ham-fisted and shoved in your face as far as, oh, sequel? Or, oh, you already know what this means because of the video games. It's just, I know that every other franchise is trying to do the Marvel thing, and I get it because that was successful, but if you're not doing everything else right, if you're not setting stuff up and making me invested and making me care, then all of this stuff is very in your face, very straightforward that that's what you're doing, trying to build a world and a universe, and I did not care. There was one person in the crowd, mind you, I say crowd, there was maybe 10, if that, people in the audience, and one person clapped. And I felt like everybody else looked over and was like, really, dude? You're clapping at this fucking movie? Hannah John Kamen plays Jill Valentine, and it was nice to see Jill Valentine, I guess, in this movie. The actress was fine. And, oh yeah, Carlos. Okay, I'm joking. Leon S. Kennedy. Yes, I don't really understand the purpose of this. I know that they wanted to recast these characters because of the race and nationality. You don't want to have a whole cast of white people. I get that. I do, especially in today's time. But when the Resident Evil series already has a Hispanic character, why not just have him be Carlos? I just, the whole time I was watching this dude, I just kept thinking, not only are you not Leon, you're not, but his character was such a, quote, rookie, which, man, how many times do they say that? He came off as somebody who was such a pushover, such a, I don't know what I'm doing, and I get that that's supposed to be endearing, or, oh, I can't wait till he becomes stronger, has a character arc, but it's not earned, and it's not believable at all. I can't say I hated this film. I can't say that this is one of the worst movies of the year, although when I get to my list, who knows? At the end of the day, I'm just gonna settle with some old bullshit.
Man, this some old bullshit.
I know that there will be some people who will give this a pass, who will like it more than I did because of the game references, because of how they did do certain scenes straight out of Resident Evil 2 that people will probably get a kick out of. But I just think everything else was handled such piss poor. I think everything else was handled in such a way that should have been so much better. And yeah, I'm I'm pretty disappointed. Let me know in the comments below if you already saw Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City or if you plan on seeing it. I can't believe that they want people to pay in the theaters for this. It would be way different if it was direct to DVD, if it was a Netflix film. I would probably give it more of a pass if they weren't asking for you to pay theater price. Alright, let me stop before I start ranting and getting upset. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!